signs that I collect from my travels around the world. Things that you look at what these businesses do and you think, what were they thinking? So first up here, this one's, well, actually, before I get to that, for those of you that don't know, I have a show. It's available on iTunes, the website's there. Help My Business Sucks. It helps small business owners and entrepreneurs to improve their business. And there it is on iTunes. And that's the studio. I own a TV studio in Salt Lake City. All right, so what were they thinking? First up, this one's kind of self-explanatory. Always open. These are actual business signs that I've either taken the photographs myself or sometimes viewers send them in. Next one, Pizza Hut. This is their genius marketing slogan. You can just imagine all the execs around the boardroom coming up with that one. It's good to provide an incentive for people. You know, it's a good marketing principle, as in this case. Not the most appropriate incentive. The incentive really should match the product being sold. So here's another example. Free pizza with purchase of house. Not really the best match. Another marketing principle you might be familiar with is to bundle products. Bundle, create a little collection of items, as in this case, hamburgers, chips, and Russians. Or in this one, chiropractic, coffee, and cola. What is such a logical combination? This one, they didn't quite, I mean, it started off so well. Antique tables, great. Made daily. What were they thinking? Now, in business, you can choose any name, any name. You have unlimited possibilities. And this company chose the name Boring Business Systems. Unbelievable. What were they thinking? Any name. You can choose any name. Hazy View Eye Care. In Texas, they have more Christians than they can possibly know what to do with, so they've opened a Christian clearance center. And this last one, it really kind of defies categorization, but it's just quite disturbing, really. What were they thinking? Unbelievable, but this is an actual business, and I don't think they're doing too well. Anyway, so I do have these tools and resources. In my show, I call them Nifty Clicks, which was actually a name that Ryan came up with some years back when I started the show about 4 years ago. So they're all these kind of tools and resources, nifty websites and so on that you can benefit from as a small business owner, entrepreneur. So the first one here is called Powtoon.com. Powtoon.com. You might want to write some of these down. Powtoon.com is a very easy and inexpensive way of creating a promotional video that has the sort of hand-drawn style, little characters and so on. And it's basically, it's like a library of graphics that you drag and drop. You can add text, you can create these really great little effects and so on. And so it's a very easy way to create a promotional video that, you know, you may have seen these kind of hand-drawn ones that are very popular these days as an alternative. So Powtoon.com. Next one, Quixey.com. I looked for, I guess, the last few years since I owned an iPhone to find a resource that was kind of like Google for finding apps, both for iPhone and Android. Well, Quixey is that resource. You literally just type in real-world language the kind of things that you're looking for, and it will find you. It will suggest apps, and it's a very handy way. It's much, much easier than using the iPhone store to do that. So that's Quixey.com. Next one, visually, visual.ly, visually. Infographics are very, very popular these days. If you're not familiar with infographics, they're creative, attractive designs, graphic designs that convey certain data. So whereas in the past, you might have had some data that's just boring, percentages or, bullet points on a slide, that kind of thing. Well, infographics really make that come alive, and I'm sure you've seen them online. Well, Visually is a search engine for infographics. And the great thing about Visually is any infographic that you find as a result of searching on that search engine at Visually, you can use, you can embed it in your site, you can copy and paste it, whatever you like. It's Creative Commons, if you like. So just a couple of examples here that I picked out. I searched for, I think, health. This one came up, top 10 worst sources of bad sugar. What is it? Aspartame, there we go. So as an example, that's a good-looking infographic. This one was how cars are made from the factory to the showroom, and it kind of goes through the process. So you can see, very attractive. I guess a lot of graphic designers create infographics for their portfolios and that kind of thing, so we can benefit from them in a similar way. So I really like Visually. For example, if I'm doing a blog post, very often I'll go to Visually and find a great infographic that I can use, and you don't have to worry about the licensing and that kind of thing. Next one, followupthen.com. This is a great productivity tool for email. It works with any email system. And what it does is when you use followupthen.com, and I'll explain how to use it in a sec, it allows you to kind of forget about an email that you need to respond to later. In other words, now is not the right time. Other things need to happen in order for you to be able to respond to an email. And so it allows you to forget about it, delete it from your inbox, and then what followupthen.com does is it sends it back to you at the specified time. So the way it works is you can send or forward an email to any type of time or day reference or calendar day at followupthen.com. So you might do November 18 at followupthen.com. You forward an email to, and then it'll send it back to you on that day. You could do 11 a.m. at followupthen.com, and then it'll send you back the next time the calendar or clock gets to 11 a.m. There's a couple of other examples on there. It's a little small to see. Yeah, any date, or you could do 3 months at followupthen.com. So again, just any type of date or calendar reference, it will detect automatically, and then it will send you that email back at that time. So it's just a nifty way to be able to get a reminder if now is not the right time to respond to an email for whatever reason. So a little productivity resource. That's followupthen.com. Next one is SkyDrive.com. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Microsoft products, but they do a few things very well, and this is one of them. SkyDrive is similar to Dropbox, which I love. I use Dropbox. The nice thing about SkyDrive is, first of all, it's free, but secondly, they give you 7 gigabytes of data for free included. So for storing large amounts of files, like in other words, a long-term storage where you need the data backed up, you might have it on your computer, but you also want to store it remotely, SkyDrive is a great solution because it gives you that big amount of 7 gigabytes for free. And the other thing is, because it's a Microsoft product, they've invested millions of dollars in data centers. So it's not like a startup which may or may not be here, in a year or two, that kind of thing. It's got the resources of Microsoft behind it. So that's one of the reasons I like SkyDrive, just for long-term, reliable storage as a backup mechanism. It's a nifty way to do that, and you can't beat the price for free. So skydrive.com. Next one is Grovo.com. Grovo.com. This is a site that is kind of like a directory for good quality, high quality video tutorials about how to use a lot of internet websites and resources. So for example, if you go to Grovo.com, you can search for anything that you like, and you can also browse as well. But for example, it'll give you high quality video tutorials on about how to use and benefit from WordPress, for example, or how to use and get the most out of Facebook. The thing I like about it is it's very easy to use, it's very easy to navigate, and they only reference the highest quality video tutorials. Everything's free on there as well. It's just public domain or Creative Commons videos, you know, like a training series, and usually nice big video windows or full screen. And so it's a really great way to get up to speed on a website or a web resource that is popular, that you're not familiar with, that you'd like to get to know a little bit more. So that's Grovo.com. Okay, next one is Outlook.com. Of course, everybody knows Outlook, the software. How many people use Outlook out of interest in the room here? Okay, a few. I try. I mean, I think different people resonate with different email systems. I tried Gmail. I don't, personally, I don't like the Gmail interface. I think it's a little cluttered. And I used to use Outlook, actually, the software installed on my computer. I've now gone over to Outlook.com, which is a new service. And it's good for a number of reasons. First of all, it retains the same very clean, easy-to-use interface as the software. And secondly, it also allows you to check any other email account that you might have. So if you have a Gmail account, for example, you can still view that in Outlook.com. You just set it up one time, and those emails will come into the main email inbox or a subfolder, whatever your preference is. Very easy to use, very easy to set up. It's free. I don't know if it'll stay free forever, but it has been free for a little while. And I really like it because whereas in the past I would have had to use something like Log Me In to remotely, if I travel, remotely go into my computer to check the emails on my office or home Outlook computer. Now I can do it anywhere that I have an internet connection. So it's just a little bit easier, and for that reason I really like it. Okay, what else do we have here? All right, interns.com, actually internships, I apologize. Internshipscom is a great site for finding interns in your local area. As I mentioned earlier, I have a TV production studio in Salt Lake City. So one of the ways that we've used this is to find trainee or intern camera operators, prompter operators, designers, editors, and that kind of thing. And so we always have a little group of interns that can help us out with projects. And it's worked very well. So it's very simple. You register. It doesn't cost anything to register. You fill in the details of what you're looking for, the type of people you're looking for. Obviously, the area that you're in. It's all about local people in your particular area. I'm not sure if it goes beyond the states, but that's certainly where I've used it. And within a very short time of you posting a listing, you'll start getting people submit their application, and of course you can review them and get back to them and so on. So it's really a very efficient way of getting some extra help in your business. I'm really a big fan of internships.com. It's enabled us to get some great people. Yeah, question? The way that we've used it is just for local. I notice up the top there it says in 50 states. I don't know if it allows you to do it for remote workers, but you could. Oh, okay. I don't know, yeah, you'd have to take a look at it, but I'd be kind of curious to find out myself, yeah. We've only ever used it for local people, but it really works very well. It's a popular site. I guess this site has been kind of passed word of mouth through many different areas in the States. So it does seem to be quite well known among colleges and university, I found. And we've certainly found some good people as a result of it. So that's Internshipscom. SimpleDiagrams.com. This is, if anybody remembers the software Visio, this is kind of like a simplified version of Visio. It really is a very simple way to create diagrams. It's drag and drop. You look at different libraries on different themes. So there might be a library on, let's say, flowchart. There might be a library on marketing. There might be a library on computers, whatever. I mean, there's lots of different libraries to choose from. And you literally drag these little characters and graphics across, and you can create a simple diagram without having to know how to draw. You can even create infographics using this particular system. It's free to use. I really like it. I really like tools that just do one thing very well, and this is one of those simple diagrams, and it really is simple to use. Next one is popfeedback.com. This is, again, another very simple, just does one thing very well. Pop Feedback allows you to create a widget for free. They have more kind of advanced functionality that you pay for as well. But on the most basic level, it creates a little widget that will pop up in the corner of the screen at a time or a situation of your choosing, and it just asks for feedback from the site visitor. So you could ask a simple yes or no. You could ask a simple multiple choice question. It looks great. It looks very kind of Web 2.0 style, nice looking widgets. You can see an example of it down there in the corner, that gray box. That's an example of how one might look. And it allows you to gather data. So there's all kinds of possibilities for using that. And as I said, it just very simple and easy, efficient, and free way to get some feedback from viewers, customers, visitors, prospects, whatever the situation is on your site. Yeah. The data is just sent to you. It collates it, so you can download it in a spreadsheet, or it can just get it sent to you directly via email. Next one, JustBeamIt.com. On occasion, especially if you have outsourced workers or remote workers, you'll need to be able to share a file directly with one person or a few people, perhaps in a team. Well, JustBeamIt.com is a resource, a site that allows you to do that in the simplest way possible. There's no registration required. And the really nice thing about it is that you can transfer files of up to 2 gigabytes in size. So a lot of the other services are very limited. For example, YouSendIt is a very popular service for sharing files, but the limitation, even with a registered account, is at 100 megabytes. So JustBeamIt.com allows you to share up to 2 gigabytes, and it's as simple as dragging the file from a folder into the web page and then specify how you want to share it. And it'll give you a link as to how that person can download the file. So that's JustBeamIt. Very easy way to transfer large files. IWriter.com. Has anybody ever used IWriter? A couple of people. I love IWriter for creating good quality articles or to do research for content that you want to create yourself. IWriter, I think you can't beat the price, and the way that they go about it. It's I typically will pay about $2.50 an article. They actually do have them available from $1.25. You specify the price. The more that you pay, the higher quality you'll get. But I found $2.50 to be a sweet spot, which is obviously a ridiculous price. It's so inexpensive. It's just laughable. But you can filter writers. So what happens is you specify a topic, any other details that you want to let the writers know about the topic that you're creating, and in the brief, as it were. Once you've sent that brief, you specify how many different articles you want on that particular topic. It could be 1, it could be 10, or however many more. There's no limit. What happens then is the writers, which are all over the world, and of course many countries where the dollar has a lot more value, they will write the article and they'll submit it, and then it's up to you whether you choose to accept it. If you accept it, if you like it, if the quality is good, then the payment is made by the company behind the scenes. I think it works via PayPal. So it's very easy to use. I love the fact that you get to approve the articles before paying for them. And the other thing about it is that you can actually pre-filter writers. So for example, if you find a couple of writers that you really like, you can say, offer it to these writers. And you can also filter it in another way. You can say, with a particular project, you can say, only show it to writers that have a rating. I think there's a scale rating of between 1 and 5 stars. Only show it to, for example, writers who have had a rating, an average rating of 4 stars and above, as an example. So it's a really well-designed site for outsourcing written content. And the way that I typically use it is for blog posts where I'll give them the topic, I'll get the articles in, and usually I'll tweak it to be my own style, but it's a lot better and faster than me writing from scratch and coming up with ideas and so on. Question? That's a good question. I'm not sure if I have done that. Personally, I don't really mind where the location is. All I care about is it a good article? So I will filter it by the number of stars, the quality of the writer. And like I said before, if I find a couple of writers that I like, then I will continue to offer them the projects as well. But as for narrowing it or filtering it to a location, I'm not sure about that. But IWriter is a great resource, and it's like I said, there's many article writing resources and sites that are available. But the combination of the way that they work the business and the price, I just haven't been able to find one that beats that. UserVoice.com is a software, actually it's an online software support system. There are many support systems out there. I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of them too. This one, for a new business, allows you to get started for free. So most of these support systems work on a sliding scale. The more people that you need to support, the bigger the price gets. But and very often price is a barrier to a new business. But so this is a good alternative. It works well. They've been around for a little bit, and just a easy to use system as well. So that's an alternative for you to consider. UserVoice.com. And then we have Zite.com. I absolutely love this. How many iPad owners are there in the room? Wow, huge number. So what Zite is it allows you to create a personalized magazine. And magazine is a good description because it looks like a magazine. You've got articles in there. The articles are formatted like a magazine. But the unique thing is it's completely personalized. So when you set up an account, and it's free to do that on the website there, it will ask you some general questions about your interests. It will suggest, very common, popular interests like health and fitness, sports, technology, food, restaurants, that kind of thing. So it'll give you those general categories, and you click on the ones that interest you and that appeal to you. And then beyond that, what it also does at the end of that stage is it gives you a little search box, and then you can search for any interest that you might have. So much more specific niche or niche interests. And so you enter those into the search box, and if it has indexed articles, it will actually come up with that, and it'll add those to your interest. The other thing is that it's kind of like Pandora for magazines, because as you interact with your personalized magazine, there's a little bar on the side, and it gives a thumbs up or thumbs down, and so you can click that button with your finger. And so it learns as you go about what types of content that you like as well, the content and the content sources. So within a few weeks of using it, you really end up with this, it's like, your ideal magazine that you might buy from a bookstore. It really is incredible. The whole thing is, the layout is beautiful, it's easy to interact with, the functionality is awesome. Just can't say enough good things about Zite.com. So if you have an iPad, I highly encourage you to download that. Like I said, it's free, and you can create this amazing personalized magazine just with your specific interests, and it's a great thing for when you travel and have a bit of time to spare and so on. So those are a few resources that I had for you. Does anybody have any questions on the ones that I shared? Yep. 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 Yeah, that's a good question. The way, the basic principle that I found is that the more information you give them, the better quality the article is going to be. So, it might take you 5 minutes or so to create the brief, but the more detail you give the person about the specifics, like you might say, you include these subtopics, however, do not talk about such and such, that kind of thing. Or you might say, spend 30% of the content on this area, and so on. So the more specifics you give them, the better the result you're going to get. The other thing I didn't mention about IWriter is that they inherently run every piece of content through a what's the word? A checking system to make sure that it's original content. So that's all included in the process. That all happens automatically. Question? An example? Well, it's for creating any type of written content. So, for example, we have a website for my studio, which is saltlakeCitystudio.com. And on that blog, I usually try and update that regularly, but it's not something that I want to be doing. So I give writers on IWriter a list of video production related topics. I give them some direction. They create articles, and I always read them and make sure that it fits in with my own philosophies about production. And then I will release those as blog posts, with some images or a video every now and then to regularly update the content. Does that help? Yeah. Any other questions on any of the resources I showed you, or any resources that you're looking for. Okay. Oh, question? I do have a membership site where I find these discoveries and share them. And what we do is each one of the resources is explained with a video tutorial. And that site is niftyklicks.com. Niftyklicks.com. That's one of my membership sites. Any other questions? Yeah. For Pinterest graphics, let's see what would be good for that. Fiverr would be a good resource. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Have you used Fiverr? Oh, for you to create them. Let's see. Which one? How do you spell that? Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm not familiar with that, but thank you for sharing. Does anybody else know a resource that they've used for creating? Sorry, it's a little bit difficult to see. For creating graphics yourself. I do use Fiverr for that. I like it because, for $5, if you're not a graphic designer, it's usually you can find great people on there. Especially if you order when you search, order the results by the review, and then the best people will be at the top. Okay. Any other questions? Yep. Any other recommendations? I don't know if there's a time limit. I wasn't aware of a time limit. Let me see. There are a number of other resources that will do similar things. That one is I found to be the best. Of course, there's Animoto as another alternative. Who was that? Go ahead. Suggestion. Okay. Any other questions? Blinded by the light here. All right. Okay, well, I hope those have been helpful to you. Feel free to come and see me during the day. I'll be here the rest of the day. And thank you for coming.